knocked loose. White dive on it.
This is twice now the Celtics have been first to the floor. And he's trying to save with Horford. Unbelievable.
Boston first to the floor. So good.
Brown fakes, fires up the three. Tatum dives on the floor. Everybody dives. Jaylen Brown with the flush. Blocked by Porzingis. He's doing it all. Tatum spinning, driving, layup. Washington drive. Blocked by White. Oh, what a block from Derek White.
Ben Vallis here with First to the Floor. Welcome and happy Jayson Tatum Appreciation Day. Alongside me, two devout celebrators of this most holiest of days, Wayne Spooney and Jake Eisenberg. Guys, how we doing?
We're good. We're good. The fury builds within me in honor of Jayson Tatum. That's for sure. I'm fed up, and I think I'm just going to channel that energy into defending our guy until the season starts, until he can defend himself.
Yeah, well, I think ultimately everybody knows 30 minutes of Olympic basketball is more important to where you are in your career
Clearly.
than 19 games where you won the title and dominated on both ends of the floor. So I'm glad we're having these discussions about how Jayson Tatum sucks now when he played, 3 games after winning the title, and he's clearly probably pretty tired. So it's all ridiculous, man. It's C.S. Lewis clown shit. Like, it's dumb ass shit. And it doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm glad we're here to celebrate him. He deserves it.
Yeah, it's what we're here to do. It's ridiculous that we have to do it, but we probably would have done it anyway because we love JT this much.
Yeah.
So what is Jayson Tatum Appreciation Day? Well, JT has been fucked with, right? Like, he just has, regardless of how you feel about his DNPs and massively diminished roles within Team USA. The fact is, he got dragged through some shit online. That is a fact. Jayson Tatum Appreciation Day is a day of healing, I think. We're here to say, forget all that shit. That was ridiculous. This man, even if he quit tomorrow at age 26, is a hero in Boston forever. And I'm offended, personally, by the endless discourse of uninformed bullshit that is still overflowing like a shitty blocked toilet since the Olympics. So, Jake, Spoonie, is that about right, guys? Like, what is JT Appreciation to you guys? Something other than what we've just invented in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it's come from that, and like the DNPs. It was not about the DNPs. It was about, for me, what's come out of that has been people taking that and turning that into a conversation about who JT is as a player, and it's the classic Jayson Tatum tropes that just are not true. Whether it's him being the ball stopper stuff that came out after the first DNP from like quote unquote smart people, the Nate Duncans and stuff like that. And that's where I went to war with yesterday with people calling him a ball stopper, can't make quick decisions, not a good playmaker. And then going down the rabbit hole of dribbles per touch, seconds per touch relative to his own teammates, but also the rest of the NBA superstars. And that's what's been the most frustrating, has been like these just untrue tropes about Jayson Tatum being proliferated through the internet when he proved all of them wrong for the entire playoff run, capped off with a title. And so that's why we're here. And just to celebrate, one of the best Celtics in the history of the franchise at this point.
Yeah, and it blows my mind. For some reason, Tatum is like the one guy that stats are totally meaningless to like these dudes who have built their entire career on like being analytics nerds. And it's like, I know what the numbers say, but when you watch him, like, he's not that. Yeah. It's like, oh, I really don't feel like he's top 10. And it's like, well, all the numbers tell you he is. You take Devin Booker's numbers at face value. You take Nikola Jokic's numbers at face value, which you should always combine it with the eye test as well. But it's like, clearly people have a blind spot for Tatum. And I wonder if it's the Celtics thing, if it's like he's fucking boring. Yeah, I will say
that's
that.
Part of it.
He's boring. He's definitely boring, which I love in a superstar. That's what you want. But it's like people rebel against his game because they don't find he's not Anthony Edwards making like goofy Fortnite puns during interviews or something. So I don't know. It's truly, truly bizarre. He's one of the best players in the NBA. And yeah, he's going to go down as one of the greatest Celtics ever.
And I think part of it too is he's been kicking everyone's ass for his entire career.
Decade. Yeah.
The second he's entered the league, and that's what today's going to be. And what I had a great time doing yesterday was like just filtering basketball reference through like most rebounds as a rookie and points and all these like crazy games that I like forgot about and got to relive, and we're going to get into from literally the jump. From the jump for his entire 7-year career, he's been in the conference finals over and over and over again, 2 finals, championship. Like he has been beating everyone's favorite team over and over and over. And he's reached a level of hate. We were trying to talk about it in the Discord, like how to compare it, because it feels like LeBron, like when he went to the Heatles, or James Harden, the amount of hate that he got, despite kind of doing everything that people want. Play team basketball, stay on the same team, kind of play 2 ways, do everything that everybody really wants, but alas, and that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, certainly not boring when he's winning fucking championships for the Celtics only months ago. It's still not boring. Just endless content. I've just done my own finals rewatch over the last couple of weeks. Very much enjoyed that aspect rather of Jayson Tatum's career. So I feel like the jumping off point for this conversation should be like, how do we feel about Jayson Tatum right now, given everything all these villainous douchebags are saying online about our guy? And let's start with his comments coming out of his Team USA experience. This is per Windy of ESPN, ESPN, according to my typo down there. It was a tough personal experience on the court, but I'm not going to make any decision off emotions, Tatum said. If you ask me right now if I was going to play in 2028, it is 4 years from now, and I would have to take time to think about that. So I'm not going to make any decision based off of how this experience was or how I felt individually, which says to me, this was rough. The next Olympics are 4 years away. Probably going to be pretty interested in winning another gold medal by then. Yeah. Kind of a non-factor. What do you guys think?
Yeah, he'll play. But again, these comments just get fucking torn to shreds. Like, if he says no comment, same reaction. Like, people want him to say the exact right thing, where it's like, he didn't say a fucking word for the entire Olympics. And it's like, oh yeah, I kind of like wished I played. I'm like, kind of objectively was the best American player in the NBA over the past season. And I just had a kid and I could have just been at home, like with my family. And I played like 12 minutes. And also I just got shat on for 2 weeks, despite the team like dominating and the team. That was crazy as well, by the way. This team underachieved relative to expectations. Inferior opponents all over the tournament. 16-point favorites versus Serbia, similar against France, and they almost lose to both of those teams. Whereas the Celtics have a cakewalk, quote unquote, to the finals, and that gets held against them despite dismantling the NBA from day one all the way through to the championship. But because it was close and Steph had to bail them out when it should never have been close, they underachieved massively compared to the talent on this roster and compared to the other teams. That's a side tangent that I just got reminded of. But Tatum, I feel good about where I am with Tatum. And it's like, it's kind of hilarious that we're going to get revenge Tatum now. It's like he put this on Instagram. Actually, I think he deleted it in the end, but Vince Staples tweeted, "We will avenge Jayson Tatum." It's like, has this ever happened before where a team wins a title and their 2 best players come back like hungrier maybe than the year previous? Yeah, like what is going on?
It's truly bizarre. I am shocked at how people took that quote. I guess I shouldn't be anymore. Yeah. But that to me came off like such a level-headed and mature comment of him basically being like, everyone knows he wanted to play. Like, of course he wanted to play. Halliburton is joking about it, but you can't tell me he didn't want to play. So Tatum's basically like, this is kind of an emotional time. I'm just going to, I've got 4 years to think about it. I'll make a decision sometime in the future. I'm not going to say yes or no now because I don't need to. And, I don't want to say something if I say no now, then I might regret saying no. If I say yes now, I might regret that. So I'm just going to make a decision when I feel it's necessary to make a decision. That is like mature adult ways to handle things. And it's getting taken like, oh, he doesn't want to play for USA basketball. Like, oh, he's like a traitor. I don't know, that like people are somewhat taking it tongue in cheek, but It's just bizarre to me that you can take that quote and criticize him for it. I guess I just don't. Did we read the same quote? Because at times with Tatum, it feels like the narratives people run away with are counter to what he's actually said. And it happens a lot. And I feel like this is one time where it's absolutely happening. And I do think he's going to play. It's going to be in the United States. He's definitely going to play in the 2028 Olympics.
Yeah, he's just such a heavily scrutinized player, which is brutal because he's so crystal clean, like off the court, like cleaner than the kitchen in the Bear. He's just absolutely spotless, and yet people criticize him relentlessly. But old Celtics legend Jeff Teague, who has his own show, again, our peer in the podcasting game,
That's right.
and he had this to say about the Tatum situation.
I tell you, ain't Jayson Tatum.
On me.
Oh, he's done with the Olympics.
Bro, DNP, bro. DNP forever. I wish they would ask him to come back.
No, he's never gonna play again. But they just ruined everything for the NBA now. The USA team did.
Damn.
Because now they just built a dynasty. Y'all already told Jaylen Brown he wasn't elite because he didn't get invited. So now he's not an elite. So he already on a revenge tour, right?
Mm-hmm.
They just won the championship. You're supposed to have like a little slight letdown because you won a chip. You're supposed to be chilling a little bit. They gonna come out on bullshit. He mad he got left off. And now you telling Jayson Tatum he the worst player out of all the elites, pretty much. And y'all telling me I can't compete against Serbia?
Bro.
I love
Guys,
Jeff.
You're telling me you can't compete against Serbia? What the fuck? He's absolutely right, dude.
Yeah.
I think
He
Jeff
can't
might be
guard
right.
Bogdan. He
Yeah.
can't guard fucking Bogdan.
He's out of your fucking mind, dude. There was a great comment here before. He doesn't stick up for himself, and Brad is also cut from a similar introvert cloth. So don't get the "fuck you, that's my guy" Pat Riley-esque presses either. Which made me think I'm very excited to hear from Joe, because I'm sure he's going to get asked about it, and he's going to talk about it in his own way.
Joe's going to love he didn't
Yeah,
play. He's going to be like,
absolutely.
yes, that's perfect. Yeah.
I want to, and I'm like, who knows? I doubt we're gonna get the full Joe Mazzulla behind the curtain, how he's gonna like take this and use this and in his own Joe Mazzulla way. But I just want to know like what he's thinking, how he's gonna like use it to help motivate the guys and channel it in the right way. Because we don't want Tatum to come out and like be like, okay, I need to go out and average 32. Because playing team basketball is why this team is so good. But Jeff Teague's right, dude. You done pissed off the wrong guys.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
How many teams in the history of the NBA have had the revenge to post winning a title? And then in Tatum's case specifically, he's been on the All-NBA first team for the past 3 consecutive years. He's the literal champion, just won the title. He's perpetually hovering in that 5th to 8th best player in the league. He's evolved his game every year to complement the Celtics roster, not himself, to complement the guys around him, always to the benefit of the team. And he's only 26 years old. Like I said earlier, if he retired tomorrow, he'd be a legend in Boston forever from today. So all of this discourse online, I think it comes from a standpoint of jealousy. I wish we had this like superstar human, literally on and off the court, as part of our franchise forever, and was this young. He isn't. One little tiny bad thing happened to him rather as part of that Team USA campaign, and all of a sudden there's this opportunity to jump on him, even though he's just won the title. So we've got this revenge campaign coming up next year, which, if you're going by what Jeff Teague has just said, I think is to our benefit. Absolutely. Can you think of any precedent for this, Spoonie, that's happened ever in history, or Jake?
Man, like not even the Bucks. Like the Bucks kind of had a Mickey Mouse championship, but that was like pretty quickly forgotten, and people were like, Giannis is the guy now. He's the dude, and now he hasn't made it past the second round since then. So I think like you could probably just say like the Jordan teams, because Jordan always had a massive chip on his shoulder and always came out to kill people. But that's like an anomaly, and I don't think is really comparable. This is unlike anything I've really seen, where usually you are anointed the king of the NBA when you are the best player on the most recent champion. It happened to Jokic, it happened to Giannis, it happened to LeBron after the bubble. And it's the opposite is happening to Jayson Tatum. They're talking about him like he's a glorified role player. It is insane.
Yeah, I wonder, like, the players disagree, right? So, like, we saw a ton of like NBA current and ex-NBA players kind of being like, what's going on with the Tatum stuff? I think within NBA circles, like I've seen like Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart's podcast talking about how like they're the champs, like everyone's coming for them. So I think like in the NBA, people that don't have media brain rot, which is clearly what's happened to all of us, including ourselves probably, is like they know, like everyone that's in the league, all the coaches, all the GMs, all the players, they've been getting toasted by the Celtics for years, and especially last year and the year before where they lost to Miami in the finals. They still won 57 games that year and made the conference finals game 7. It's just like, it feels like their failures have just been like amplified in a way. Like again, similar to LeBron, where it's like his finals losses in the GOAT argument are used against him, which is weird because it's like, well,
as they should be.
Of course, yeah. I know.
I was waiting for that.
I mean, I'm sure Spoonie's loved how this has been the reason why LeBron is the GOAT now, stuff as well. As he rolls his eyes and almost falls out of his chair.
I thought he was going to pass out.
But yeah, man, look, I think we've kind of covered the Tatum ridiculousness. But a question I had pop up, like, should he try and lean into being a villain? And I'm like, but that goes to what I was just saying. It's like he doesn't get booed in opposing stadiums. Other teams don't hate him. Other players don't hate him. Like there's just a respect amongst normal people. So it's like there's not like a villain role to, I think, step into. But I do think there is potentially something to like embracing the obvious online vitriol.
Yeah.
I
Go
just
ahead,
hate
man.
this. Well, just first of all, the whole like they win the title, and the phrase is what they gonna say now, and then the answer is apparently a fucking lot, quite a fucking lot. Unfortunately, for the case of us Celtics fans and Jayson Tatum, but he has built his brand on like staying true to himself and always playing the right way and never sort of deviating off of that course either on or off the court. So I think he needs to remain himself. He's never wavered from that to date, and he's found success in doing so. So why? And he's copped a lot of shit online in the past. So like, why would he start now? I think. What do you think, Spoonie?
I think the irony of that is, I think you're totally right, Ben, and everyone accuses him of being fake, which is really like bizarre. Where it's just like, I think he's just kind of a normal, boring dude, and like people can't comprehend that. But real quick on his like sort of legacy, like his failures are other people's successes. People hold up Trae Young. He's good enough to get his team to the Eastern Conference Finals. Tatum loses in 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals, and it's blow the team up. They are terrible. So it's like massive double standard there. But yeah, like he's staying true to himself, and he can't even be given that. People turn that around and like, look at how fake this dude is. Who do you think he is? He was a stand-up person at Duke. He's been in the league 7 years now. Like if he was actually someone completely different, I think the mask probably would have came off by now, right? Yeah. Like we were hearing weird shit about Dwight Howard by now when he was in the NBA,
Yes,
like fighting with Stan Van and stuff like that. So I think this is just who he is, and there's nothing to pick at. So you have to invent stuff.
Oh, so you just reminded me as well. Like, you know how when he was like the after party thing, he's like got the white singlet on and he's got the mic. He's like, everybody wanted to know what would happen if we didn't win. I guess we'll never know. Everybody clowns him again for fucking doing that. And then the Team USA did the exact same thing, on their Twitter, and everybody's like, "Oh!" And then like the long jumper woman who had the husband who was also like has the prosthetic legs, and like there was that cool. I think her name was Tara. She wins the gold. She comes over and she's like, "Everybody wanted to know what would happen if we didn't win. Guess you never know." And everybody's just like, "Oh my God, you guys are so cool. Aura.
Horrible.
Oh my goodness." It's so funny, dude. I feel like I'm in the fucking losing my mind, dude. Like, are we in the Truman Show? Everyone's just like cranking up the weather to a 12 and just like, oh my God.
It's the collective Truman Show with Celtics fans as the stars. Yeah.
Oh my
At least
God.
we trained for this with years of defending Marcus Smart, who had his faults, especially now in hindsight, and now we're dealing with faultless beautiful Jayson Tatum, where we're well versed in the defense, playing the defensive role for any player on the Celtics. But we've got a lot more to work with here. And if you haven't seen Jake's. He really like unsheathed the sword, Jon Snow style, in the face of battle on Twitter. Go check it out. And Spoonie had some great clips in the face of that as well. So definitely go check out all the conversation about JT. Is kind of the catalyst for this show on Twitter yesterday. Now, before we get to the Jayson Tatum Appreciation Day JT Moments draft, sponsored by your brand here. That's right. We're open to sponsorships on this show. We need to get to a quick word from our friends over at Prize Picks.
That's right. And had to reopen it because my computer restarted before. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. One Caleb Williams passing yard gets you 1 win on Prize Picks every week in September. That's right. Only 1 yard gets you an automatic win every football weekend in September. 4 weeks of free W's. Don't miss this deal on Prize Picks because it's gone when September ends. Prize Picks also has season-long options for the NFL. Patty Mahomes more on 4,300 passing yards. I'm locking that in as my keeper league 2 quarterback starting quarterback. I made my first $10 deposit and received an instant $10 bonus if you have the skills. You can play for a shot at turning your $10 into $1,000. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Shout out Prize Picks. Shout out the CLNS Network for presenting the First to the Floor YouTube show and audio podcast. Please subscribe to the First to the Floor YouTube channel if you haven't already. We'd very much love to have you as a subscriber. Hit that bell so you get notified of all of our upcoming shows. We do multiple live shows a week. Hit that like button. That helps put this show in front of more people, helps us attract a bigger audience. And I don't know if I've ever said this before, but Brian Scalabrine does not get out of bed, does not come on any shows, unless they've got like 20,000 subscribers. So we're almost at 5. Helping us get to 5 would be nice. Helping us get to 20 would be unbelievable. Now, to continue the spirit of Jayson Tatum Appreciation Day, we're going to do a live draft of the best, or at least our favorite, JT moments. Now, we won't have caught them all, so go off in the chat or in the comments. Let us know your favorite Jayson Tatum career moments, not just from this year, not just from the playoffs or the finals, but all of his career, his illustrious career so far. Do we want to just like rattle off the obvious ones to begin with, guys? What do you think? Or should we just go?
I think we draft them.
I think we should draft
All right.
because I think we want to. Then we can create to see who gets the best Jayson Tatum moments team after we're done.
I'm in trouble.
So how do we decide who goes first though?
Alphabetical: Eisenberg, Spoonie, Vallis, Jake.
Fuck yeah.
You're up.
Oh, this is awesome, dude. #1 pick. Look, there's a few in the tier 1 category, but for me, I think it's got to be Tatum game 6 against the Bucks, 46 points on the road against Giannis Antetokounmpo, down 3-2 to force a game 7 back in Boston, age like 23, 24 years old. I think that game was, I mean, he'd had some big games before that, but that was his first like nuts on the table. I am one of the best players in the sport, one of the best players in the NBA. He was, I mean, you're watching him knock down these threes here. Thank you, Ben, for playing that. I was deciding whether or not to do it with or without the sound, but Tatum, you watching him hit these threes, man, he was like not even touching the rim for like the entire game, inside, outside. But I think he had 8 3-pointers in this one, just going absolutely nuts. And like you hear the Bucks crowd just going like deep because like this game was close all the way down to it, like 5-point game with like 5 minutes to go, and he's still going. He has that play where he comes off that screen, man. Drew Holiday got toasted a lot in these highlights, and he goes down the lane, tries to throw it down, gets an and one, doing the shoulder shrug. And you hear the Bucks crowd like in the dying moments just crowd, chanting defense, just like trying to will their team to the conference finals. And Tatum just had a silencer over and over and over again. It was beautiful.
Dude, there was that one shot where he like sort of fell away, sort of out of bounds, sort of behind the backboard, and put up like this rainbow, kind of Kobe-esque fadeaway where the game was still close at that point. And when he hit that shot, because, you know, like if you've watched games with us via playback.tv/Celtics blog, you see, even if we're up 20, as was the case in game 5 of the finals, we're still absolutely shitting our pants the whole time. And when JT made that shot in game 6 of that series against the Bucks, I knew he had it in the bag. That was awesome.
Yeah, and I think it being on the road makes it that much more special. Back against the wall, down 3-2, on the road, going to Giannis's house, and he just wins the duel. I thought defensively he was really good, basically most of that series, especially that game too. Just a two-way dominant force, and like 46 on the road is just, that's a ton of points, man. And he got it, like he hit a lot of threes, but he was also like slicing through the Bucks defense, getting all the way to the rim. And that team's entire defensive strategy was to keep you away from the rim, but he would not be denied. He kept getting there. Nobody could stay in front of him. Like he had one like filthy inside out dribble that just completely pantsed Giannis. That I think you got to pull up off afterwards. So just, yeah, endless big shots. Like it was an incredible performance. It's easy number one, not easy, but it's number one for me too.
You got number 2 pick, Spoonie. What do you got?
So this is a recency bias pick, but I gotta go game 5 of the finals. The crowning achievement. He, you know, his pass, he had 10 assists in the first half, ends with 31 on like decent efficiency, 12 of 26, and just endlessly going to the rim. And when I watched this game back, I forgot how much of our entire offense was like, give the ball to Tatum, let him crack somebody off the dribble, and then it all flows from there. He was the entire offense, the entire game, came up with some massive defensive plays, had a crazy pickpocket, I think, in the first quarter, huge block at one point too. So it was just an incredible game. And it's like, look, we're coming off a loss, coming back home. Don't screw around. The championship is yours. And Tatum did not, man. He just went to the rim over and over again.
Yeah, dude, this is awesome. I thought this was close because this is the one that gives you the title. And I think what was cool about this series and about this game is that this is the evolution of Jayson Tatum from that 2022 season to now, where that Bucks game obviously has all the threes. And look, we've covered the struggles with the jump shot. And this version of Tatum does not need the jumper to still be elite. Getting downhill, the playmaking, man. 9 assists in the first half. Like, just like really impressive to control the game despite the jump shot not going. So like, and that's like what makes LeBron so incredible as well. Sorry, Spoonie, is that he's like, I saw Jason Timpf talking about this. Like he's never been susceptible to the shooting variance. Again, a cognitive dissonance that I don't understand between Timpf saying this about LeBron James and missing the forest for the trees on Jayson Tatum, where it's like, he doesn't need the jump shot to be going down for him to still be effective. Still getting to the rim over and over and over again, playmaking for others, leading his team in rebounds now for years. The pickpocket on PJ Washington. The Celtics are on a 7-0 run. They're going like they're up 11, and it's like the Garden's going nuts. PJ Washington's bringing the ball up, and instead of settling the Mavericks down, Tatum picks PJ Washington at half court and goes back down the other way. It's just like every tool in the toolbox impacting the game in every possible way. Game 5 kind of had it all. You even had he even gave us the one pull-up 3 in Luka Doncic's eye at the end of the second quarter. And we saw the emotion here, man. Like, he gets the and one, the deceleration. And my hot take maybe after watching the highlights again on this one, I was like, is the shooting slump actually good in that he now understands, like, I need to create a lower variance offense for both myself and the team, to quote the great Joe Tiddy, low variance offense. And that's what he did in this finals. Like, he didn't force it. He didn't take too many threes at any point. He knew get downhill. That's the best offense. And maybe this is like this the switch that gets flipped is like, my jump shot might leave me, and I got to figure out how to still be impactful. It's like, oh yeah, the 6'10" dude that weighs 230 pounds can kind of bully anyone he wants to get to the rim.
Yeah, what a luxury to be able to dominate a game and play such a complete game while not technically being able to shoot. I know his jumper was a little more wet in this game as his sort of confidence and his rhythm got going, but his shot had left him like well and truly by this point in the series and like largely through the back half of the playoffs as well. So for him to come out, play this kind of game, championship on the line, and remember the feelings going into this game. You lose this game, suddenly you're back down in Dallas. You lose that game, it's a game 7. Like there was pressure, even though in hindsight it was a pretty decisive 5-game series. There was a lot of pressure going into this one. He absolutely met the moment, came out, just such a complete game, such a two-way game. You could spend years just like pouring about his offensive game and not even get to the defense, which is just such an important aspect of this, like sort of, I don't even want to say the final version of Jayson Tatum, just the current most complete version of Jayson Tatum that we've seen so far. And it was absolutely put on display. I think the 46 points rightfully goes first in the draft just because of that moment and what it might have meant for his career trajectory if they were to lose that series. Then again, you lose a championship final series, that's pretty trajectory affecting as well. So a rightful number 2, absolutely. For number 3, as I try and remove it, yeah, well done, thank you.
I got it, yeah.
I got to go Game 7, Philly last year, 51 points. I want to say I didn't expect this one to fall to me necessarily, so I haven't got notes on this game, but 51 points against Philly. Game 7, again, you talk about trajectory affecting, which say that 10 times really fast. You lose that game to Philly. First of all the series to lose, of all the games to lose, you want those Philly fans on you online. No, thank you. But just completing another chapter in the book of dominating Joel Embiid and the Sixers on the biggest stage. Just big boy shot after big boy shot. 51 points in the Garden. The Garden was going crazy. And if you remember, halfway through this game, it was a close game. And, you know, on playback, absolutely shitting ourselves yet again, fearing the notion and the fallout of losing a series to the Sixers. And that second half, Tatum was just electric. And going through and like studying for this podcast segment, guys, he really does have like a complete like back catalog of awesome moments, and this I think is a rightful number 3.
I mean, great choice, great value here at number 3. Like 51 points, the record for Game 7 scoring. Jayson fucking Tatum has the record for most points in a Game 7 against the reigning MVP in Joel Embiid. That is Jayson Tatum's record, and he broke the record that was previously set by Steph Curry in the previous round, 50 points against Sacramento. Steph Curry had the record. Not sure you heard of him. Pretty good freaking player, dude. And then Jayson Tatum comes back the next round and does it to send the Celtics to the conference finals again. And what I love about this one, obviously, against Philly, I mean, fantastic. But, you know, as you said, Ben, this was close up until the third quarter where he like kept it rolling. But in the first half, he had 25 points and he was 1 for 3 from 3. Again, like we love when the 3-point shot's going down. He's like the best player in the world when the 3-point shot's going down. But when he's dominating without the 3-point shot going down, that might be my favorite version. So he has 25 points on 1 for 3 from 3 in that first half. But then the threes just like it's avalanche. And then in the second half, he ends up 6 for 10 for the game. He has he's just like looking at the sky. He's looking at Deuce and his mum in the corner, just being like, what? And then he's just skipping back 50, holding it up on the way back on, of course, Joel and Philly. You can't not love it.
Oh, and just the relief of like, oh, we won't lose to Philly. Thank fuck. Sorry.
I know when that third quarter run was going on and it looked like Harden had given up, I was like, oh, yes. Like, I couldn't handle losing to Philly. But Harden, like, he packed it in about halfway through that third quarter once he saw what Tatum was doing. I also loved a lot of that third quarter run. He was intentionally getting Joel Embiid onto him and then just saucing Embiid with a variety of dribble moves at 6'9". And when the step back's going like that, he's completely unguardable. And yeah, I think it goes back to his approach, Jake. Like you said, like he was determined to get downhill in that first half, got into a rhythm. Once he gets into a rhythm, he's one of the best scorers ever. Straight up, like when he's got the 3-point shot, the pull-up game going, like he is totally, utterly unstoppable. And he's got the Game 7 record to prove it. So speaking of like, I remember people like holding up Curry as that some amazing feat, and then people immediately downplaying Tatum's
I know.
51 right after it. So it's just like perfect Tatum.
Tale as old as time.
Yep.
Now, I say we go back to you, Jake. I think there's too few of us to
I was
snake
gonna
draft.
say-
I've been known to be discombobulated by snake drafts in the past on the show.
This is also true.
We'll send it back to you, buddy.
Okay, I was wondering because this yeah. Okay, so now I think we start to get to the game theory portion of the episode here, because those are the three obvious tier 1 choices at the top here. I'm gonna go with a classic here. I'm gonna run it.
Celtics with 67 points with 6:45 remaining. Tatum drives down and throws it down. Wow!
I
I
mean,
can't believe this fell to you, man.
Jason
That's
Tatum.
We can't.
dunking-
We don't have 2 picks
know.
each, Ben.
I know. Jason Tatum dunking on LeBron James in the conference finals as a rookie, and Mike Breen on the call. Like, Jason Tatum throws it down over LeBron James, and the Garden's going absolutely nuts. It's like, oh my God, is rookie Jason Tatum going to beat prime LeBron James on the way to the freaking finals? No, he wasn't. Thank you, Terry Rozier. But that was, I mean, yeah, that's a pinnacle. It's going on the Hall of Fame highlight reel.
Amazing quote after that too, with the LeBron, he's so good, he's so good, he's so good.
Times 4.
Which,
Yeah.
times 4, which is beautiful. Yeah, I certainly thought we were winning that game after he dunked that down. But alas, just an incredible moment, kind of a bit of an arrival. I have my next pick's going to be, I think, where his true arrival was as like a superstar, but just like you dunk on LeBron like that, you kind of put your stamp on the league. People have to take notice. And the fact he was awesome that whole playoff run as a rookie, was pretty incredible. And that was kind of the cherry on top of like, we were getting picked to lose to Philly. Never mind take LeBron to 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals.
When he chest bumped LeBron, I was like, oh, shit. He's taking it too far. That's prime LeBron James, basically. Now we're in trouble, and it turns out we were. But still a cool moment, and, it's his rookie season, so plenty of time to get past LeBron or win a championship in a variety of different ways. But I do remember some panic immediately setting in after the elation of seeing that dunk. What do you got for pick 2, Spoonie?
That's such a bad response to
Yeah, I
something
know.
awesome like that. Like,
Oh,
our
no.
rookie dunks on LeBron. Why did he do that?
I'm like JT. I stay true to myself.
Just lay it in.
That's a fact.
Just lay it in.
So I'm gonna call this moment Jayson Tatum arrives at superstardom. February 14th, 2020. It was Kemba's team, I feel like, until he went and hung 39 in double OT on the Clippers, 39, 9 and 1, and just did it in every different way. So it was just an incredible game, and he was like averaging about 20 points a game, I think, up until that point. And then after that, he was at like 26, just burying pull-up threes like crazy until COVID shut the league down. But so I just felt like that was the moment, the game where it was like, oh, we don't just have like a guy who's an all-star. Like, this dude has all NBA potential.
JT, why'd you go 6 for 10 from the free throw line in this one, bro?
Yeah.
You could have had 43. It would have been no, this was, I think, definitely like this. Oh, that was the best game of Jayson Tatum's career. And one of the best parts about this game, I'm pretty sure this was the last game they played before the All-Star break. So this game happened, and then the All-Star break happened. And so all of the pods were like, I think he was an All-Star as well.
It was his first All-Star appearance.
Exactly.
Yep.
So he had this game, and then he had his first All-Star appearance, and he outduels Kawhi. I think Paul George got injured earlier in this game, and it was like both of them, Kawhi and JT, played like 48 minutes in double overtime, and Tatum just like straight up outdueled Kawhi Leonard, doing it on both ends. 5 for 10 from 3. This great call, Spoonie. 2020 Tatum.
This is a good
Headband
one.
Tatum.
Yeah, I was going to say other underrated aspects of this game. This is Skater Boy Tatum, the headband, the sort of the loose beard. He was wearing a lot of like flannel and like loose chinos and stuff as well during this time. So he really leaned into the Skater Boy aesthetic. But yeah, absolutely coming out party and like so dominant in the clutch in this game. That's where he really took over. And at that point, like to see Kemba, if you're watching on YouTube, you're seeing it now, like defer to him late in the game and run everything through essentially like ISO Tatum, whether that was getting downhill or making a play, stepping back for a three, or just like getting in there for a dunk, just overpowering guys like Marcus Morris, who was a little younger at that point, a little bit more spry. So cool to see. And at that point, 2019, 2020, we've got a lot of PTSD from the Kyrie side of things, the Gordon Hayward injury, and Hayward back and healthy on the court for this game. But we were looking for hope in anywhere that we could find it, and to see a coming out party like this from JT was absolutely incredible. So great choice. Any other thoughts on this one before we get to my, I guess, the sixth pick?
No, go for it, Ben.
All right. Game 3, playoffs, May 25th. This is the huge comeback game in Indiana. Jayson Tatum, 36 points, 12 of 23 shooting, 5 of 10 from 3. So one of those playoff games this year where he very much had his 3-ball, 10 boards, 8 assists, 2 blocks, 0 turnovers, just completely dominated the game, particularly obviously in that second half, the catalyst for that comeback there for the C's. This is a signature Celtics win, but more so a signature captain's knock for Jayson Tatum, where he just came out and just purely led the team to a victory. And I guess a lot of what we've already said, just the completeness and the two-wayness of his game, there really wasn't, especially with his shot actually going down in this one. There's no way you could really fault him in this one other than being generally lackluster in the first half, along with the rest of the team. This is an incredible, I think, inner orbit Jayson Tatum, incredible game, guys.
I mean, yeah, you've got the iconic pass driving down the lane behind the back to Al Horford in the quarter. And every time I watch this game, I'm like, God damn, that 3 from Al Horford only cut the lead to 2. They were down 5 with like 1:10 to go. Like, Indiana just kept coming in that game. So we needed all 36 from Tatum in this one. Yeah, this was like one of the most complete games like you can play. And again, like on the road, these game 3s, dude, and on the road in general, like this, like we didn't know what was going to happen with KP. We needed to win this game to keep Horford's legs fresh for the finals, and to go up 3-0, you essentially seal a shorter series, and Tatum, putting the team on his back again. Like, yeah, one of the most complete games he's ever played.
Yeah, 8 assists with those 0 turnovers. Just completely dominant offensively. Other than that first half was just kind of bizarre. And Indy, like looking back at some of these highlights or some of these Indy games, part of me is just like, how the hell did we sweep these dudes? Like this just makes absolutely no sense. Like if you asked me, that Horford 3 put us up 3, not down 2, but
yeah, I know.
Yeah, he was absolutely incredible that game. He was a +9 in a game we won by 3, which I think is kind of important to note, that we really kind of crushed them when he was on the court, and it was when he was off that Indy was really getting at us. So I think is indicative of the best player on the team, the best player on the court in that Eastern Conference Finals. I think he should have won Eastern Conference Finals, although I'd give JB the Finals MVP. But great game. 44 minutes too. He was only out for 4 minutes, and we got outscored by 6 points during those 4 minutes.
Yeah, pretty important to the success of this Boston Celtics team. Ben, what are you going to say?
I was going to move you on to pick number 7.
Perfect. All right. So I'm trying not to be influenced by the chat because everyone's throwing in some awesome ones here, but I think this is the one I'm going with. I don't have highlights from this one uploaded, but Brooklyn Nets series, the 2020-2021 series, first round, game 3, 50 points against the Brooklyn Nets. And really the only time we saw James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving all together and all healthy in any meaningful way was against the Boston Celtics in that first round. Like, they played a total of 13 games together, the Brooklyn Nets big 3. And I'm not sure if that was regular season or playoffs, but even if you include these 4 or 5 games, that takes you to 18 games. And they happen to come against the Celtics. I want to know so badly what would happen if we would have had healthy JB for this series. I think you can push it to 7 just because like the matchup was like really good for us as well. But Tatum all over them, both ends. So 50 points, 16 from 30 from the field, 5 for 11 from 3, 13 for 15 from the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, and 1 turnover. It's just like, and you're down 2-0. It's like the series is over if you lose this game. And he just went absolutely nuclear. And it's one of the like more lost playoff games. Kind of similar probably to like Joel Embiid's 50 points in the net series this year. The difference is those teams were evenly matched, whereas Tatum, I'm not sure if you're watching right now, is sharing the floor with Romeo Langford and Tristan Thompson and Evan Fournier. Kind of an insane lineup to be looking at. And yeah, dude, this is what when I see some dumb shit online where it's like, I want to see what Tatum looks like without a stretch big. I'm like, this is what it looks like, dude. He had 60 against the Spurs, 50 against the Nets, 50 against some. I've probably taken some
Atlanta,
ones
right?
off the board if I keep talking here. But he went absolutely nuts in a bunch of games this year because he had to. That's just not how you win basketball games. It's not going heliocentric Tatum ball as much as it's fun to watch him go for 50.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Like in sort of what the first starting point for me to like filter my search and find games for this segment was just to go to like his all-time box scores and filter by scoring. I feel like it's a pretty good entry point to this.
Yeah.
And that 2020-2021 season where, yeah, we had a hugely diminished roster and a lot of other injuries throughout that season, he just went off all season, and not just with his scoring, his passing, his efficiency was really high as well. Shout out to the haters. His turnovers were low. Generally, he was like quite effective, but as is the case with really any superstar who doesn't have many weapons around them, the team sort of underachieved accordingly. But like he was really effective in this capacity. We just know historically, no matter who the roster is built around, that's just not enough to really make a deep playoff run. But if you ever want the demo, the understanding of what Jayson Tatum would look like with a diminished roster, with everything sort of the focal point being around him offensively, then just look at games like this, and it was absolutely incredible. Of course, we're going to only win one game during that series, but I remember exactly where I was watching this game. It was during that COVID period where there were 0 cases in Australia, and I was like out during the day with friends and keeping an eye on the score. And by the fourth quarter, I was like locked in a toilet cubicle in the bathroom at some pub, just like cheering on Jayson Tatum, having the best time. That was like the highlight of my day, was sitting on the toilet watching Jayson Tatum score 50 against the Nets.
Oh my God. Even like watching the highlights right now, I'm not sure if everyone saw that. It says Robert Williams out for the remainder of the game with a sprained ankle.
Oh,
which
Jesus.
is just
Triggered.
like just lost his another good player on the team. Tatum also had 40 in game 5 in Brooklyn. Just wasn't enough.
Yeah, he averaged 40 for the series, I'm pretty sure. Another kind of special thing about this game, it was the first game fans were let back in the Garden after COVID, too. It was only half capacity, but hearing real cheers after having watched so much basketball with the fake crowd noise pumped in was like made it extra special. And the fact that he capped it off with a 50-piece in a win was just really awesome. Like Tatum just kind of showed up for the fans as a dude in a mask is screaming. That's going to be a relic when we watch highlights like from 20 years ago. In like 20 years in the future, we're going to be like, oh yeah, remember when we had to wear masks to a basketball game? But great game. My next pick dovetails perfectly with this one. And it's my pick, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I have next year, we also play the Nets in round 1. Game 1, Tatum has 31, 4, and 8. Absolutely hounds Kevin Durant defensively for the entire game and caps it off with the game winner. And it was just kind of a beautiful moment where it's like, these dudes, gentlemen, swept us last year. And now game 1, assert the dominance, out crunch time a team with Kevin Durant on it. And Tatum, I feel like it wasn't his highest scoring game. Great assist game from him. But when you combine that with the defense where it's like, oh shit, KD can't do anything against him. Like, I think we're going to win this series. And there was a lot of people picking the Nets back then, as I recall. I think we were favored, but there was a lot of like, ooh, the Nets,
was even
man.
odds.
Yeah, even odds. Okay.
I remember because I bet money on the Nets. I was like, I can't lose this series. If we lose, I have to be rich. That's an awesome pick, Spoon. I think I'll take my other pick off the board here because I had the whole Brooklyn first round series.
Yeah, me too.
Like this,
Okay, all right.
So he had 35-7 plus 2.6 stocks on 61.51% true shooting for the entire series. And he had, I remember exactly where I was for game 1, where I was in Singapore for a wedding and I was like getting ready to fly to the States for the Nets series. So I was like, and I was watching game one in the hotel, like the morning going for the flight next to my wife. And we're like watching it. And then he has that layup and we just start screaming because it felt like the game was over. It's like, we never score on these like, last possession down one things. And it was the perfect like drive, kick, cut, like just a beautiful position. You end up with a freaking layup at the rim. But this whole series, his like two-way Tatumness was out of this world. Like he completely outplayed Kevin Durant when KD was still, pretty close to prime Kevin Durant.
Yeah, that was the crazy thing that sort of eventuated throughout that series is after game one, you're like, okay, Jayson Tatum, great job sort of limiting Kevin Durant. I wonder if, how Durant is going to respond to that, how the Nets are going to respond to that throughout the course of the series. Game two, okay, interesting. JT kind of locking down Durant again while dominating offensively. Interesting. Game three, still happening. This is strange. Game four, does it again. And it's a sweep. And it kind of was one of those things where it wasn't over until it was over as far as in our minds being like, holy shit, like Jayson Tatum just like locked one of the best players of all time completely up for the duration of an entire playoff series where he was healthy, stakes were on the line, legacy-wise rather going both ways. And for JT to lock up that quality of an offensive player, we just saw him go absolutely balls to the wall in the Olympics. For him to do that at his relatively young age there in 2022, I guess he would have been like 23, 24. That's fucking crazy and awesome. And it's why I had the whole series as my pick there, as I fumble for my run sheet to get my next pick. Let's get one more pick in and let's get to our game time ad. I'm going to go with 50 points in the play-in game against the Wizards in 2021. May
Right before
18.
the Nets series.
Yeah, that's right. 17 of 17 from the line in that game. And this is when he was struggling with his post-COVID illness where he was using like an inhaler to try and clear his lungs, and he'd had sort of a rough period after coming back from time off with COVID, and then just dominates his mate Brad Beal and the Wizards in a play-in game where we were like, where do these stats go? Where are they filed? Do they mean anything for the legacy? Jayson Tatum Appreciation Day is all about ensuring that these moments are properly recognized in the Hall of Fames and whatnot. What do you think of this one, guys?
He has the record as well for highest ever play-in score as well. But like they're actually not on Basketball Reference. Like you actually have to go back to the game itself and find it on NBA.com in order to like look at the box score, which is, I'm assuming they're going to add them in at some point because it's like maybe it's like its own category, but like they should just be part of the playoffs if they're going to keep having the playing game. But just purely so we can go back and look at the numbers. But yeah, man, to go. That's what like that whole season he was dropping monster games over and over again because he had to, and that 50 piece was I don't remember that game being as close, but the Wizards and Bradley Beal have just never had a good time against Tatum.
No, they have not. Yeah, I remember that game like kind of floating around 10. I don't know. It's been a long time, but also one of the rare moments where I was just like, we're winning this game. Like I have zero concern. Like Tatum is just carving these dudes up. This doesn't matter. We're just a much better team than the Wizards, despite I think starting Aaron Nesmith, rookie Aaron Nesmith in that game. So that team was just like Band-Aids and like gauze on a gaping wound. The fact that we made the finals the next year is pretty insane when you look back at it. But just a ridiculous superhuman performance to grab the 7 seed.
Carson Edwards played in that play-in game, which I think tells you everything you need to know about
the
status of the Celtics during that era. We're going to come back for Jake's next pick, but first a quick word from our friends over at GameTime.
Game Time. I live in the shadow of the newest MLB sensation, Paul Skeens. He's absolutely electric, pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm looking forward to making the hour trip up to Pittsburgh and catching a Skeens start with Game Time. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. We actually just used Game Time to pick up our Summer League tickets, and I just attended a soccer game up in Pittsburgh featuring my least favorite Premier League team, Liverpool FC, all thanks to Game Time. Mo Salah, bald now. I had no idea, but he pulled the Jake Eisenberg and shaved it all off. Yep. Game Time, it's just super easy to navigate. You can pick up last-minute tickets. They've got flash deals where you save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or event. Zone deals where you can save when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the actual seats. And I think my favorite feature is you toggle on all-in pricing. The price shows up the total up front, no surprises or fees at checkout. So take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Shout out Game Time. Great app. Use that code CLNS and get your hands on that great deal next time you're looking to buy tickets for literally anything. Now, we'll do maybe 1 or 2 more rounds, guys, and then if we've got anything left, we can speed round it. Jake, you're up.
All right. I think this one was going to fall to me longer, but like I loved it so much when I went back and watched. So this is Game 5 Eastern Conference Finals. Rookie Tatum. So good. Here you go.
Tatum against George Hill, steps back at the elbow. Tatum fires from 3, rattles that one. Celtics look to push. Tatum rifles a pass to Bane. Tatum with another steal. He comes up with a steal. Tatum, good look for 3, got it. Shot clock down to 4. Tatum on the move. Tatum's got to put it up. Just gets it off in time and nails it. Jayson Tatum with 17.
Jayson Tatum with 17. Like,
so good.
This guy was special from the freaking jump, dude. Like, we all saw it. We all knew, and we've only been building on it since. But that rookie Tatum game, Game 5, Eastern Conference Finals against LeBron, 24 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks. 7 for 15, 3 for 7 from 3, 7 for 8 from the free throw line. Like, he had the defense. He's like fronting LeBron at like 19 years old, getting steals. Like another throwback, rifling the transition pass to Aaron Baines. Like, oh man, so awesome, dude.
Spoonie, would you say this is like the most giddy you've ever been watching the Tatum-led Celtics, in that we were just like in real time learning like who he is or who he was? And I just remember thinking like, holy shit, I can't believe like Ainge just drafted this guy. We got JB before. Like, this is fucking crazy. Look at what he's doing to like prime LeBron and like the championship gunning Cavs.
Yeah, that was I would say a era of Celtics basketball filled with giddiness, because you're coming off the IT Eastern Conference season, which was just all vibes, all positivity. And then, you know, Hayward and Kyrie are out for the playoffs, and it's like, let's see what they can do. And then all of a sudden it's Game 5 and Tatum's roasting LeBron James. And it's like, what are we watching right now? Like, what is the ceiling for this guy? And it's starting to look like the ceiling is one of the best players of all time. And he showed it from the day he stepped onto an NBA court. That was awesome. The giddiness levels were on 10. They were child who just got ice cream levels at that point.
Spoonie, you got a pick for us?
Yeah, I do. I'm going back to this year. So Indy Game 3 was my number 1 for the conference finals, but Game 1, he had 36, 12, 4, and 3. And I think the biggest thing for that game, as I try to load these up quickly, is that he had 10 points in overtime after JB obviously had that massive corner 3 to essentially force overtime, but not his most efficient game, but just came up absolutely massive when we needed to steal that game. Like, you never know what's going to happen in overtime. It would have been so painful to claw back, force OT, and then lose. And Tatum was like, nah, we're winning this game. So I just feel like, you know, it ends up leading to a title, which I think makes it a little more important than some of his other similar games, and a little bit of recency bias, but I thought he was really awesome.
Dude, as I said, every win in this series and in this run was so important in hindsight because of how much we ended up needing Al Horford. So to not lose this game and see Tatum also go up. And this was another one where like the discourse around Tatum was weird afterwards. It was like, they won the game and he had 36 and 12 and had 10 points in overtime. That's good. That's really good against the Pacers. And so, yeah, another complete performance. Another captain's knock. And you can, man, 36 and 12 is enough. Big
That's
numbers.
legit.
Big numbers, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are big numbers. I was looking for the captain's knock graphic here. I don't
There
know if
it
it's going
is.
to show up. There it is. Captain's knock. Beautiful, beautiful. I guess that's a stroke to fine leg there by Jayson Tatum, the captain. But look, absolutely fantastic performance by Tatum. There's a lot of ceiling talk in this conversation. I apologize for the background noise. My ceiling is currently being rained on incredibly hard by rain, funnily enough. But I want to move on to my next pick so I can mute my microphone again very quickly. So this is very fortunately fallen to me at I guess the 12th pick we're up to now, probably even deeper. 60 points against the Spurs, 1st of May 2021. Jayson Tatum played 45 minutes, shot 20 of 37 from the field, 5 of 7 from three, 15 of 17 from the line, along with 8 boards and 5 assists. If you remember, we were down big at halftime in this game. Jayson Tatum said, "I'm sorry, Greg Popovich," and potentially Patty Mills at that point. Yep, Patty Mills, Lonnie Walker the fourth, to name a few. DeMar DeRozan, Keldon Johnson. Sorry, guys. I'm beating your ass, and came out and dropped so many fucking points on them in the second half. And it ruled. 60 points, man. 60 points is like up there, upper echelon, like scoring production of all time.
Yeah, that's the thing. He just doesn't need to do this very
Yes.
often. And that's why I'm pretty sure that was the same. That was the COVID year as well, right? Where there weren't fans in the stadium too. So like there was so many big games from that season. Yeah, I remember that being I'm torn on that one because it was like one of those games where they just like the Spurs sucked and we're like fighting for playoff seeding and we're down big against the Spurs. I'm like, are you kidding me, dude? And then it went completely back the other way and Tatum went absolutely nuclear. 60. Very cool that he's got a 60 bomb. And that's right. He tied Jaylen Brown, had a fast break and dropped it off to Tatum for like his final 2 points or something. And I think Tatum ended up tying Larry Bird for like the franchise record, single scoring record, which was a cool, Celtics lore universe moment to tie a bow on that whole game.
Yeah, crazier performance. I think sort of that may have been a red flag for where that season was going. The fact that we were down like 35 to the Spurs at halftime, I probably should have seen the writing on the wall a little bit, but just like 60's nuts, man. Like there's just not a lot of dudes. You see some random 50-point games, I feel like. Like Tony Delk has a 50-point game. I think Corey Sadiq Bey, has a 50-point game. But 60 is like, for some reason, that extra 10 points is really just kind of mostly upper echelon all-timers. And Tatum is one of those dudes. Yet again, he checks that box.
All right. Should we switch to rapid fire?
I think
now?
so. We've got a couple of clips we'll get to, but for the most part, let's rapid fire it and get out of here. Mostly because I think my roof is about to collapse.
All right, this is just a moment, a fun one, not necessarily a huge game, but yeah, this is from the bubble. JT mic'd up.
When I get a cut, I think I'm top 5. Top 5 what? Top 5.
Top 5 moment. Yeah.
Top 5.
He
Top
just got
5 Tatum,
too.
dude. Yeah, and not super top 5 since getting the cut, but he didn't really get a chance to. But yeah, top 5. That was just, and like you get those little moments of Tatum. He's just like, just a pretty normal, fun guy having a good time.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Fuck that guy. He's the worst.
Yeah, dude.
Spoonie, what do you got?
I got a quick one. Rookie Tatum. We're going into the semifinals against Philly, who is, I think, a plus 330 favorite for that series. We end up winning in 5. Game 1, 28, 3-2 for rookie Tatum on Joel Embiid's head. Just like another one in that rookie playoff run where it's like, what is this guy? This is crazy. What is he doing?
Yeah, could this guy turn into a 3-time first-team All-NBA, NBA champion by the time he turns 26? Yeah,
yeah,
he can.
Yeah, he can.
Absolutely. I have another rookie Tatum player as well, just a random regular season.
From Morris off the bench. Tatum with the dribble and the pull-up. Got it. Are you kidding? Rebound from Morris off the bench. Tatum with the dribble and the pull-up. Got it. Are you kidding me right now?
Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oohs, ahs from the crowd. Nothing but the.
Dude, that was so nasty. And you see who it was on?
Drew Holiday, yeah.
That's right.
Dude, there's actually quite a fair few of Tatum dusting Drew Holiday highlights out there. But yeah, great one. I remember that specific move so vividly. I was like, oh my God, dude, that's a 6'9" guy. Shouldn't be allowed to do that.
All right, I got two more. I'll just double bang them to end. Have you guys got anything else before we wrap up?
I got a couple to list off here. Game 2 against Toronto, 34, 8-6, 73% true shooting. Game 7 against Toronto, 29, 12, and 7, 44 minutes. That Raptors series was just like the first. I thought, okay, like he'd played really big minutes as a rookie, but he hadn't played really big minutes as the guy before. And so he was, lead initiator, leading the team in rebounds, playmaking, scoring, and playing like 44 minutes a game, double overtime in game 6, loss, comeback game 7, 29, 12, and 7 to win, to go to the second conference finals of his career. That was a big series for him as well.
Yeah, I have one from that bubble run too. Game 5 against Miami. Hayward comes back. We win a game. We're down
3-2 now.
Yeah, down 3-2, down 3-1, and then we've got to win Game 5 to keep the season alive. 31, 10-6, plus 10 keeps it going. It's like, oh, we're 2-2 since Hayward came back. Like maybe we can do that. We didn't do it, but just kind of a back against the wall, pretty monster performance.
Yeah, I'll add Christmas Day 2022.
Tatum, good ball fake, one more. Tatum, he caught one. Punched it on Giannis.
Tatum, as I said, he's not unwilling to get off the ball early, but how about the pass? And just great team basketball.
Remember
Punched
when he just posterized Giannis?
Punched it.
Yammed it.
Punched it. Dude,
Yammed it.
there's so many good moments against our rivals, dude. Philly, Milwaukee, Lakers, Miami. Another one against the Bucks in that 2022 series. Game 4, down 2-1 on the road again. 30 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 56% true shooting. Can't not mention Al Horford, though. I forgot how insane that game was for Horford. 38-3, 11 from 14 from the field, 5 for 7 from 3 from Horford. So you'd usually get a Jay's 30-piece, but to get a Horford Tatum 30 bomb between them, that was a special one as well.
And look, there's so many more suggestions coming through. Folks in the chat saying the T-Wolves game from earlier this year that went into overtime. Tatum, I think, had 10 points in overtime. I had a couple more clips dialed up, which we won't get to today, but maybe we can save them for later on in the offseason. There's plenty of offseason left. But like Jayson Tatum behind the back, falling out of bounds in 2021 to like a streaking Time Lord, for example, as a plane flies over to add effect to the rain. Again, I apologize for the background noise. I got to get myself a studio here. But shout out to everyone in the chat for all these additional ideas. All it's making me think is, or wish is that we had all day, all night to sit down and just keep rolling through these moments. But I guess the fortunate takeaways is our guy, Jayson Tatum, on Jayson Tatum Appreciation Day, is just chock full of awesome moments and awesome games in his career thus far. And he's only 26. Guys, any parting thoughts to get to before we wrap up here?
More to come.
More to come.
More to come.
He's a superstar. We have a homegrown superstar that's already got a title stamped, man. Like
26.
We just got to say, forget the noise, dude. Like, let's just enjoy the ride, because it's going to be it's probably going to be a multiple title ride.
Dude, please inject that into my fucking eyeballs. Look, there's plenty more news to get to. We didn't talk about the in-season tournament schedule. Peyton Pritchard's wedding and Blake Griffin's involvement and plenty of other awesome news coming up too, which we'll get to on another pod later in the week. In the meantime, let's call it there. Thanks everyone for joining us, whether it's live here on YouTube or you're catching us on the recording later or the podcast. We love having you guys. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button, leave us a comment or a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. We'll be back with another show in just a few days' time. Spoonie, Jake, love your work, guys. Until next time, go Celts.